Welcome to Progress in San Diego. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Walter Davis. And with me today I have the honor to have Kathy Sharp of Wordical. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Kathy, tell me something about Wordical. You have this fantastic organization that helps young people.
Well, Wordical, basically, in a nutshell, we reach out to teenagers, older teens, 15, pretty much 15 is the youngest age, and they write, direct, literally every aspect of production for stage and film, for their productions, and it's for stage and film.
Wow. So how active are the kids in terms of developing these productions?
Very. We've, in working with them, we've had kids that wrote the music. They write the beats. We actually take them to the studio. They lay down the beats. They write the words. We'll give them an idea, give them a concept, and they take that. They also develop the characters while they're acting. They begin to suggest certain things. They suggest the direction in which way to go. So we include a lot of comedy as well as the dramatic parts, and so the kids take a really, really big role in developing the character, developing the music, choreography. We had a fight scene where one of the kids actually took over the whole choreography of the fight scene.
Wow. So they're really hands-on.
Oh, very, very.
Now, tell me about the program and how it works. What goes on?
Normally we'll start out with a skeleton script, and then I go out and I'll do some casting. And skeleton, I mean, like, we have a summary kind of laid out. I know exactly where the script is going to go, what we want to do with it. We bring the kids on board, and we do cast for a lot of the roles, especially the serious roles. Like if you got a good comedy team, we do cast for that. The serious roles, those that really, really are dynamic and can act, we do cast for that. Everybody else, we get them involved in whatever other aspect. Like, we have a lot of guys that come in that really love to write music, and so they'll come in and just to be able to lay down the beat. You know, they want to be able to sit there and say, okay, well, I laid down the beat for this, particular production or whatever. And so we cast in every area, every aspect. And it doesn't necessarily always end up like that. We'll cast for that area, but as the production begins to take life form, a lot of times it changes. The characters change, they develop, they move. We've had it where kids traded parts. They'll just sit there and say, okay, you know what, I act like this better, can we move it? And they end up changing it, and if it works, we keep it.
Wow. That's phenomenal. So how do you get funding for this? Where does it come from?
Well, that's the hard part. Like any nonprofit organization, funding is difficult. We've gotten funding from churches, and we've also gotten funding from a couple of small businesses in San Diego. Nothing major. Most of it has really come out of pocket. Out
of your pocket?
Yeah, my pocket.
Okay, that kind of sounds like me. I understand that part. Now, the kids are held accountable, right? So you have a methodology of making sure that they maintain certain grade point averages. So in other words, if they don't maintain a certain grade point average, they can't rehearse or perform. Tell me about that.
Right. Well, just like in any acting in the state of California for minors, they have to get an entertainment work permit if you want to go in and be an actor for any film or anything like that. We require the same thing. So our hands are off of it. We can't, it makes it easier for us. Like for me, it makes it easy for me. I say, okay, this is the paperwork. I hand it all to them in the beginning, at the beginning of the process. And I say, okay, then you have to take this over to the school. Now, their counselors deal with the kids with that. And if their counselors sign them off, it's because their work is satisfactory or the grades are satisfactory. They come and they bring us back the permit. The permit is usually good anywhere between 3 and 6 months. Majority of the time, if we get it, most of the kids have never had a permit before, so it goes through the whole program. So.
Okay, so that means that if they don't maintain that grade point average, then they
can't get the permit.
Okay, they can't get another permit to come back and work. Got it. What is your success rate now in terms of kids finishing this program?
Well, I've seen them, all the ones that I've seen have come in and been a part of it, have finished it. But I think my thrill or my excitement is when I see kids doing things. I'm not saying that Wordical is the program that makes them change. You know, I'm not saying anything like that. But when I see kids that come in and especially guys, we have probably 80% males that come in and do a part of the show. And when they come in, they'll come in sagging and maybe with, you know, just hard attitudes. And by the time Wordical is done, I've seen these guys come back on stage with suits and ties, and their mentality is a lot different. It's like they have a mentality for success. I've seen some kids where, and again, I'm not saying that Wordical did this, but I think we had at least a small part in it, where they're in universities now. You know, they made the step. They took the step to go to college, which is one of the biggest things now that I really enjoy about being a part of it, you know, to be able to instill that in them. So I'm kind of excited about that. Okay.
Well, how did you get involved with this? How did you come up with the concept? Tell me about your background. How, you know, what drove you to develop something like this?
It was personal. It was just a personal kind of almost selfish. I have kids, and my kids were very vibrant kids that wanted to act. And so because of that, you know, I was involved in a church, and when they were getting involved in acting, there wasn't anything out there there was a lot of classical stuff, classical theater. There wasn't anything that was urban, anything that could keep them there. And when I started working with them and the other youth involved, they were kind of getting upset because they were saying, you know, we don't want to do this. You know, this is, you know, some of the stuff, Sound of Music, things like that. They didn't want any part of that. And so in my effort to keep the kids from, you know, going back out in the street, getting in trouble, you know, my kids included, mine included, I would do stuff. I'd say, okay, well, you know what? Write a beat. You know, give me an idea. Give me a storyline. Give me something. And it started years ago, probably about 15, 16, maybe even 17 years ago. And I watched these kids put miniature productions together. I would oversee it, you know. They could only go so far with violence, or they could only go so far with, you know, any negative outcome. Everything had to be on a positive level. And what they started doing is they started literally putting stuff together, and I started seeing that. In 2006 was when I decided to take the step and turn it into a nonprofit, because the kids were bringing their friends, you know, in, and as they were bringing their friends in, they started developing this rapport of, you know, hey, Wordical's putting on a show, and then it would be standing room only, and, you know, that kind of thing. So it just grew from there.
Wow. And
we decided to just turn it into a concept. You know, you put on the production, you put everything together, and we'll just oversee it.
Now, do you see a particular disadvantage for young males in today's society?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What do you see happening?
You know, I see a lot that's done in society for women, girls, women empowerment, things like that, but I don't see much for men, if anything at all. It's rare to find anything for our young males to get involved in and to take control and to do things and go for success in their life. And it really hit me. I have a daughter who was pregnant at 16, and after, you know, when she was going through the process, you know, it was easy to find a place for her to get involved in. I mean, there must have been 20 programs out there that were willing to take her in and do things with her. Well, everyone I asked, I said, I need something for the father, because the father of the baby was around. Nobody, there was nothing. I checked everywhere. I looked in the yellow pages. I called different programs. There was nothing to help the man who wanted to be a father to his baby, and he was young and he didn't understand the things that he had to do. There was nothing there to show it to him, you know. So I thought, wow, there's that and education. I've had an opportunity to meet or be involved with people that are heavily involved in the education arena, and to see them be able to speak to the young men and get them involved in education, to know how important it is, you know, to get a higher education and what it can do for their lives. That's something that's important to me too, to get involved with Wordical.
So it seems like, even, me, I was in the military almost for 25 years. And it appears as though in this culture, men are steered into a position where a lot of them just have to go into the military because there are very few opportunities. If a man gets raped here in San Diego County, there is no rape clinic
for men.
As though men don't get raped, but men, they got all these kind of support systems for women.
Exactly.
Some domestic violence cases occur against men, yet you will find I've sent people to domestic violence clinics and they got arrested because when they asked for help and they said, "What?" They raised their voice. They were arrested. They couldn't believe that there was no support. A man could be
better, right?
And just by raising their voice, they ended up getting arrested after I sent them there to get some help, not knowing at the time that they didn't support men. There are clinics. There are clinics here where if a man has a medical problem, they will not be helped. If a man has a toothache, but they will help women. And so you're right. There is a disparity in this culture, in terms of men getting involved in, or the things being available for young men to get involved in.
Yeah, I think it was just an imbalance. I think, through the years that, women gaining their rights and doing so much in society, I think it just tipped over. All of a sudden men were just forgotten. And when I say men, I mean young men, our teenage boys growing into young men. And these are guys with skills and talents and instead of, like you said, these programs that you want to get them involved in that don't exist, instead they're getting in trouble. They've got all this energy. They've got all this, this vibrancy going on, and they end up doing crazy stuff, and they just end up in jail.
Well, hopefully we can make a big change with that. I'm hoping that you'll start your own television show here as part of the Community Coalition, and we'll make an avenue for young people to come in here, male and female, to get involved with television production and perhaps take your productions to another level. I'm really happy to have met you and to get involved with you. Now, let's go further. Tell me some more about your background. What are some of the other things you've done with your life besides this? What kind of what qualifies you in many ways other than your personal experiences?
You mean like schooling or?
Schooling, or tell me some more about your background. What kind of work have you been doing?
Actually, I work as a secretary for an engineering company.
Okay.
So it's really, and as far as accounting and bookkeeping, I have that. As far as acting and stage and all that, no, it was just seeing the strength of the kids, I think, and just getting them involved.
So that's quite phenomenal. Going from a background being a secretary to actually leading children in a production is quite phenomenal. I mean, I'm a retired,
it's two totally different worlds.
Well, I'm a retired navigator, and look at me. So seemingly unrelated fields. Now, tell me what your vision is. What do you want to see happen with Wordical?
Ultimately, I would like to have an actual studio, an actual place, stage, studio, everything where the kids can come. They know that this is a place, an actual location that is permanent for Wordical, where we'll go through students through the years, as they come in and they get involved and know what they can do, and as they leave, of course, things open up for more kids. That's ultimately what I like to do. I'd also like to kind of have it in different cities. When you see one working, it's kind of nice to be able to see it work in other places too.
Well, great. I hope you can get involved with the Media Communications Association International. That may bring some new opportunities your way. And we are hoping to have your show in production by the end of this year as part of the Citizens Internet Television Network and our cable television network. In fact, we can get you up on cable television very quick. Within the next month or so, we'll have you up with radio and television. So these are the kind of things that we try to focus on within the community coalition. Opportunities with people doing positive things like you. I mean, we have too many youth being arrested.
Yeah.
incarcerated, there's literally nothing for them to do. There's a lot
Right.
of negativity. They see television, negativity. There's billboards with drinking
Right.
things, and there's a lack of hope. There's a lot of poverty.
And I think that's the whole thing. I have seen media take such a strong role in shaping the minds of our kids. And I look at that, I mean, they're either constantly in headphones or they're watching or they're playing. Media is all around. It's everywhere, it's taking up every portion of their time. So I figure, okay, well, why not use the same medium, and see if I could reach them. And it's amazing if you could pull them away for just a minute and get them to create it. Their stuff is powerful.
So instead of the media shaping the kids, you're actually shaping media with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. And of course, they may listen to each other. I've watched some of your productions, and they're very well done. I'm
Yeah,
very
they
impressed.
are. They are. I'm impressed. The kids wrote it. They're the ones that put it together. They're the ones that, even their shots, their film shots, that's all them. I'm the one that sits behind and go, wow, you guys did that? I'm impressed with it. So, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of desire. And I think that's the thing that hooks them in, because they become a unit. They become a family. And then they start telling everybody, look what we did. I really just oversee everything. I do a whole lot of yelling and come over here and stay over there. And you guys hungry? Do you want some food? That kind of thing. But they do the majority of the work. They put the whole thing together.
Well, we're getting down to our last 10 minutes now, believe it or not. This time
Wow.
has gone by really fast, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that you need funding.
Yes.
You need a physical location to conduct your productions.
Well, I'm looking for a venue right now. We were using the Joan Croc, but it is very expensive. And I like it because it is professional. I want to, when I work with the kids, when we do stage work, I don't want to, I really want to put it in a professional arena. Joan Croc is very, very professional. Their area is very professional. And the reason why I do that is because part of the reason why I've got these kids in here is I want them to see what success does. It's not sitting in the back, somewhere in some old warehouse and hopefully we can get 10 people to come. I want them to see what it's like to come in a real place with a real green room, and they look out there and the audience is packed and it's amazing what it does to them. And they sit there and they think, oh my gosh, we in their minds, they created the production, and now at the end of it, they say, yes, we can affect society. And I know that's kind of like, it's kind of funny, like in a long shot like that, but I think it's true. They turn around, they say, yeah, we feel like we can affect society.
So you want to give them hope.
Yeah.
You want to give them new opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And are you also trying to get more children involved?
Yes.
With your
all the
program?
Time. Mm-hmm.
So all the time you have an outreach effort.
Yeah. We do, every time I do a production, like right now we have one that's on the burner. I'm ready to start casting. All I have to do now, I guess, is just go to the schools and start letting the kids know, okay, look, we've got this, and we're getting ready to do it. And it's called Craving Innocence. And again, I have the skeleton, and they're going to come in and shape everything like that. But every time I start a production, we pull in a cast, we pull in a whole group of kids, and then we start working from there. Sometimes by the time we're probably midway through, kids start pulling in some of their friends, and we add them in, or we do whatever we can to get them involved, whether it's dance or something behind stage or something like that. We had one kid that came in, and I love this kid to death. He's an incredible young man right now. But he started with the program. He used to come and just sit at the rehearsals. And every time I told him, you want to get involved, he would tell me, no, I don't want to be a part of this. It's real hard and everything. By the time we're maybe, I don't know, almost 90% through, and I brought the kids to the stage to see it for the first time, the kid turned around and he looked, he goes, I want to be a part of this. So we threw him in the grand finale, so he did well.
Well, I wanted to let the general public know that we're going to develop a very aggressive public affairs and marketing campaign for you involving video productions.
Thank you.
We are going to get some of the kids to perhaps be volunteers and work on this setting to learn television production and internet streaming and that. So we certainly want to be a synergistic component involved with your program to help you reach some of the goals that you seek. We will also be providing a link to the Wordical organization on the Community Coalition website, which will appear at the end of the broadcast, so please look for that. What else? What else do you want to share with the public about what you're doing?
I just want them to know about it. I just want people to understand that kids are our future. You know, you can't, when you look at them, you can't just because they do something or they act crazy or they're wild or whatever, you can't sit there and toss them to the side. I mean, after we're gone, they're going to be the one running. You know, here in San Diego, when we're gone or when we're too tired to do anything else anymore, they're the next ones in line. You know, we got to give them something positive to look forward to, and they got to be able to take that and make this city a better place.
So your efforts are centered on the future and making our community a better place.
They're our future.
Well, those are certainly noble objectives. And I'm very happy that our pathways crossed, and that I'm able to do this show with you, and you know, we'll get this widely distributed. So you are currently working on a production, and now how often do you tend to start new productions?
It's only once a year, maybe even once. The film took 2.5, almost 3 years to do.
Wow.
So, you know, it just depends on the production itself. Stage is just a year, but the film takes a little bit longer.
I see. Wow.
Yeah.
That is very, I didn't realize it took you that long.
Well, you got a group of kids, and it's always a continual trying to get them together, and then trying to, you know, even afterwards, you still have the editing, getting the kids involved in that, and then going back and doing, you know, post-filming. You know, we missed a part. You know, we saw this or it didn't come out. Let's go back and do this part again. So, you know, it's constantly working on it. They loved it. They loved getting back together.
Now, how long was this film, or is this film?
It's 10. It's webisodes, so it's like 10 to 12 minute webisodes each on YouTube.
Okay, so almost 120 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so almost 2 hours long, and it's on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Any other video vault is it on besides YouTube? Is that the only place you store it?
Yeah, that's the only place we have it. We have our we filmed our stage productions as well, so they're on there also. Okay,
well, we're going to change that aspect too, and we're going to get you into our distribution network on things like Media, Blix, and Blip TV, and those kind of things. And so these are the things.
That would be awesome.
That we're going to bring to the table. This is how our shows are distributed. And channels.com, by the way, has rated our TV shows some of the best in the world right now. So we're pioneers. No one is doing what we're doing. No one is broadcasting on 2 internet channels and internet radio simultaneously, and as well as recording cable TV as we're doing. And we're all citizen journalists here. So I'm very happy to, bring you into the fold and to become part of our network. We're down to our last 3 minutes. So I want to just again ask you, is there anything that you want to stress to the public before we wrap this up?
No.
Now, you were supposed to put a plug in for yourself and build up. Well, I'll build you up.
Okay.
We have to get involved with children in our community.
Yeah.
We have to take an active, hands-on role right now because, as Kathy indicated, they are our future. Right now, we have illogical drug laws that are putting far too many of our children in prison for things that don't make any sense. Their lives are being destroyed. They cannot get employment in a lot of cases very easily after they have one of those drug convictions on their record. So we're actually developing a new generation of criminals. And then in the prisons, they learn to hate each other because of race or religion or creed or background. And now we have the gang fightings coming out of the prison onto our streets. So we all, because of our own self-interest, whether we have kids or not, need to get involved with programs like this that give children a very positive outlook and hope for their future. I want to express my thanks to you once again for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
I hope that we're able to do some powerful projects in the future.
Okay.
I want to remind our studio audience that we are coming on Sundays, every Sunday at 5 p.m. on Cox Channel 1823, 18 in North County and 23 in Southern San Diego. Our television shows are streamed live on the internet on 2 channels, on live stream and ComF5. In addition, we're on Blog Talk Radio. So if you want to become interactive with us and comment to our guests as we are doing our broadcast, please feel free to do so. If you have an interest in becoming involved in our television and or radio productions, feel free to go to the Community Coalition website. There you will find our schedule. I want to remind you that Elise Smith Cooper's show, Community Issues, A Tapestry of Concerns, comes on every Sunday on Cox Channel 1823 at 6 p.m. And Laura Thompson's show, Community Artist Connection, comes on every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. We'll soon be beginning production on the Coach Maryland's show, which deals with life coaching and life goals. And we'll begin production on that on the 2nd of June. And soon we'll have Chaos Tom coming aboard with his music show. And that production should be completed and started rather sometime by the end of the summer. And this beautiful lady right here, we're going to get her to become part of our network as well. And we're going to integrate Wordical into our cable television programming. And I want to thank you once again for joining us this evening. Please come back again, and I encourage you to join the San Diego County Community Coalition. Thank you very much for being a part of this. I'm your host, Walter Davis, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take it off?
No, I got to wait for music. So...
Could love drive you to fly? Could hope be the only way? And would it be a crazy question? Would you take it all and throw it all away? Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today. Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today. And the world will break apart today. Could freedom be between the lines? Enjoy a life foundation springing up to find that every thought will lead to nothing, no matter how hard you try to define. Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today. Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today. I open my arms to the end of time. I got one hand on a mummy and the other on a green tree, orange-eyed gecko. I got one foot on the street in the village and the other in a mine under Colorado sunshine. Under Colorado sunshine. Could you stand in the way of progress? Could you laugh it off and say, I'd let it all fall down and let the rhymes come. I'd waste away and let the roots grow around some. Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today. Take me down to the final decision, and the world will break apart today.